Road trips are quickly ruined by odd noises. When a vehicle accelerates, some of the most common yet annoying, irregular noises it makes are whining or whirring. In actuality, there are many possible reasons why a car makes a whining noise when it accelerates, so the diagnostic procedure usually requires close attention to detail. However, we will discuss the most prevalent ones first, and just before we start, please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Worn wheel bearings. The task of ensuring that the wheels of our cars spin freely while driving rests on wheel bearings. These bearings are frequently found inside unitized hubs, which need to be replaced if the bearings inside start to wear out. On the other hand, many older cars had independent wheel bearings that could be taken apart and greased as needed. Wheel bearings unfortunately do tend to wear out over time, regardless of type. A badly worn wheel bearing will usually make a loud noise. The pitch of this noise usually shifts when a car accelerates. This sound is frequently similar to a whining or whirring noise when produced at a high speed. When cornering, a defective wheel bearing is frequently easy to identify. The wheel bearings of a car are suspect if the sound abruptly stops or shifts in pitch during a turn. Wheel bearings that are severely damaged or excessively worn should be replaced right away. Failure to do so will only exacerbate the problem at hand by increasing wear. The rollers inside the cage of a wheel bearing have the potential to completely fail, unseat, and dislodge, leaving the hub of a car with dangerous amounts of play. In the worst situation, a wheel hub may come loose from its spindle due to an extremely worn wheel bearing. This creates a risky scenario that may ultimately result in a collision or seriously damaged wheel end parts. Transmission issues. The transmission in a car plays a crucial role in driving engine power to the drive axles of an SUV, truck, or car. Transmissions are more vulnerable to internal failure. Such a failure may occasionally produce an audible whining sound. These kinds of noises are frequently challenging to locate, particularly when they originate from the transmission tunnel of a car. A whining sound coming from your car's transmission usually means there's a fluid problem. This kind of noise is frequently heard when the fluid level in a transmission is lowered below the operating level or when the transmission fluid pump starts to fail. Furthermore, a whining noise may also indicate a failing torque converter. At high speeds, internal bearing wear frequently produces a roaring noise that is mistaken for a whine. When a car's transmission starts to make strange noises, it's usually assumed that something serious is wrong. If the torque converter needs to be replaced, the transmission must be removed. Such repairs are usually very expensive, with labor costs typically exceeding $1,000. If the whining noise coming from your transmission is caused by a failing internal bearing, the cost of repair will be much higher. Bearing wear of belt-driven components. The engine of a car has a lot of belt-driven accessories. These accessories all make use of one or more sets of bearings and a drive pulley. The crankshaft pulley's rotational force is transferred by a serpentine belt to the pulleys connected to different additional belt-driven accessories. The water pump, power steering pump, air conditioning compressor, and alternator are examples of these accessories for engines. Systems with this kind of design also include idler pulleys and tensioners. A whining noise is frequently audible when any of the aforementioned components' bearings start to fail. An alternator with faulty internal bearings may be the most relevant illustration of this condition. Over the sound of an engine operating normally, there is a loud whining or screeching noise as these bearings fail. With sufficient wear, power steering pumps also tend to produce a fair amount of noise. Alternatively, when a power steering pump is low on fluid, one should anticipate hearing similar noises. Fast diagnosis and replacement are also necessary for malfunctioning accessory drive components. If you don't take care of these issues, you might end up stuck on the road with a shredded belt and locked up bearings. Since the majority of contemporary cars have just one serpentine belt that powers all of the accessories, one malfunctioning part can cause the other belt-driven accessories on the car to become inoperable. Serpentine belt. A serpentine belt may eventually start to dry out and fracture. This prevents a belt from gripping the pulleys of the different accessories it drives as effectively as it could. This will eventually result in belt slippage, which will only get worse over time. The friction created when a serpentine belt slides along the outside diameter of different pulleys can be quite noisy. The best way to characterize these noises would be as squealing or whining sounds that tend to get louder when you accelerate. An already worn serpentine belt may sustain additional damage from this extra friction, which could eventually cause failure. The whining or squealing of a serpentine belt is often more annoying than problematic, and if left unattended, there's little chance it will cause more problems. On the other hand, a badly damaged or worn serpentine belt has the potential to break or fall off the pulleys it is riding on. At that point, all accessories that are driven by a belt will stop working properly, which will leave you stranded. Hope the information was helpful to you. If so, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.